Hello, everyone. My name is Marion with DTM Real Talk Channel. It's the channel that you can tune into, have the ability to listen to the thoughts of others about topics all over the world that touch every one of our lives. Everybody goes through basically the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun. So if you're going through, someone else has already been there. Maybe you can find hope. Maybe it's a pathway that can set you on the right road just by tuning in. So DTM Real Talk, just keeping it real. And if you like it, like us at the bottom, subscribe, and let us know just how we helped you. Just keeping it real. Nothing but love. Good morning, good evening, good noon, and good night, wherever you are. This is DTM Real Talk, and we're just keeping it real this morning. And guys, I am so extra excited. The reason for that is that we are back to our most powerful testimonies so that God can get the glory through the stories of other people's lives so that they can have hope and realize that if God could do it for them, He can do it for me. So if this is your first time chiming in, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that button and subscribe, y'all. I'm excited, don't y'all? Just calm down. Calm down, Mary. Well, my special guest today is Gwen Sibley, who I just met. Yes, Gwen, say hi to the good folks out there.
Morning, how are you?
I am doing well. You could tell I'm not excited, right? Y'all, I met Gwen 2 weeks ago. What an amazing meeting. It was so God divine. We just connected right away. Our women's group had a retreat, and we went to the retreat center, which is probably what you are looking at, right, Gwen?
That's correct. This is our chapel.
Absolutely. And we had an amazing time. God showed up and showed out. And so today, for a few moments, we just want to hear Gwen's story. We connected so, and I wanted to invite her to the show to be able to share her story, her testimony with you. So, Gwen, how you doing this morning anyway, before we get started?
Look, God woke me up this morning, so I'm doing very good.
That's good. That's good. And hi is my favorite friend, Kneecap. Y'all, Kneecap is a goat.
Is a baby goat. He's doing great. He's now living in a cage by himself. He's eating food on his own. So
wait, girl, wait. You mean to tell me y'all put that baby goat in a cage by itself? For what reason?
well, because it's still too small to be in the field with the other goats.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, that just wouldn't be a good idea. So
oh, okay. So when it's born,
yeah.
so how that goes? Huh? Tell me how that go.
No, normally the mother will take to them. I'm not sure of the circumstance of Kneecap, but she had to be, he had to be taken, and fed, bottle fed, and everything
Oh,
returned. So, but he is growing fast, very fast,
oh
and
wow.
loved. And he thinks humans are the mother figure. So if you connect with him in any way, he's going to follow you around.
Oh my goodness.
You
Oh my, y'all, I'm sorry. We just got off into the goat because when we were there were animals all over the place. Y'all need to check out Bethel's Encounter Center. Is that right? Did I say it right?
Bethel Encounters Retreat Center.
Yes, y'all need to check it out. I'm gonna put all that information on at the end so you can reach out to Miss Gwen. And yeah, it's gonna be great. But anyway, so where you from?
I'm from Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Born and raised. I even raised my children there, and they still live there.
Okay, and how many children do you have?
I have three children, 36, 30, and my daughter's 31.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Cool. But my baby's 35. Oops, 34. He would get me for that. 34. But anywho, so I heard a little bit of your story as I was walking out the door and we were trying to disconnect from each other and almost couldn't because we just fell in love, y'all. But anyway, so you're from Vicksburg, Mississippi. Tell us a little bit about your family life and how you got to where you are today and working for the kingdom of God at Bethel. encounter center. But let's go back to the childhood. A little bit about that, and I'll stop you if I need to know something else.
Well, like I said, I was born in Vicksburg, raised in church all my life. My mother made sure we went to church. It's just my brother and me. He's 3 years older.
Mhm.
So my mom and dad raised us. They're still married today and still alive. Thank you, Jesus. That's a huge blessing. Um, okay, so we we looked good as a family.
Mm,
And we were good as a family. I have some very strong parents, a lot of love in my family unit, and even the extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles. But there was the things we didn't talk about outside the home.
absolutely.
My dad drank, and my mom fought with him a lot, so it was a lot of arguing. Um, and my dad trying to hide alcohol. You couldn't hide it. When he was under the influence, it didn't take much for his whole demeanor to change.
Mm,
But good man, loving man. But he just had an issue with alcohol.
yeah, yeah,
The funny thing about it is he probably not even today would admit it. He was in complete denial that he had a problem with alcohol,
right,
which in my own struggle, I've reflected back on that. How you just is that kind of admitting some kind of failure if you admit that you struggle with something.
right, right.
So and I'm so sorry. I have to. My mouth is like cotton.
No, you just do what you do. I have a bottle of water here myself. Yeah. Let me ask you this before you go on with that. So in watching your dad, was that you and your brother 3 years apart, when you would hear your mom and dad arguing or whatever, was your dad one of these people that would go off for the weekend and get drunk, or he would get drunk during the week?
No, he was a homebody. He's still a homebody.
Uh-huh.
Um, they neither one of my parents were go out kind of people. My dad. This is what is so ironic how I started making a connection in my recovery
Uh-huh.
because of the arguing between my parents at times because of the alcohol. Um, my dad would come and get me, 10 years old, 11 years old, and say, "Come on, let's go ride."
Uh-huh.
Let's go up to the locks and dams. Let's go ride the levee. Well, for me, that meant once we get on the levee, I can drive. And as a 10 or 11-year-old, that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But it also meant my dad's going to get a 6-pack of beer and drink it while I drive. That taught me something. And he didn't even realize, and the Father forgive him for he didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
That kicks in at this, but he did not know how that played a part in my future when I turned to alcohol.
Right.
Because when things got rough or things in my mind would be too much for me to handle, and I would go and get something to drink. I didn't want my kids to see that, even though they did, but I didn't want to be around anybody. I isolated.
Wow.
And I drank, and I did that in a vehicle. I would go and get something to drink and ride around, listen to music. A mirror image of my dad back
Wow.
when.
Let me just pause you right there. Good folks, so for the good folks out there, I hope you listen to her. I'm just catching and grasping this, that your children will eventually do what they see.
Yes.
Am I right about that? And
They will either do exactly what they saw you do, or they will do the exact opposite and be that determined not to.
yes,
Yes. When you're dealing with addiction in any way, um, either way, whether they turn away from it and hate it so much, they're
Yes.
still struggling with all that stuff. That why are you so against it? Well, it's because I watched my mom or my dad
Yes. Yes.
growing up, and it made a really a big impact on my life. And they have to deal with that. Even the teetotalers, who never takes a drink, that they
Right.
have that bondage to work through because it affected them so greatly.
And that's with any addiction, not just alcoholism. It's anything.
Anything,
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. When you see that. But go on. I don't mean to cut you off. So you would go run to the car and start drinking and driving. Go ahead. And what age was this, Gwen?
Now this is as an adult. I did not start drinking on a daily basis until I was 31.
Hmm.
Now, the addictive behavior, I can now look back on it,
Uh-huh.
see the addictive behavior even back at age 13. And that was when I took my first drink. My mom's two youngest sisters thought it would be funny or to get me drunk one night and own wine. It was the worst taste I ever tasted, but the addictive behavior is, this is disgusting. Let's give me some more.
Wow. Yeah.
So addict mentality. Give me some more. I can't stand the taste of it. Ew. But later on in years, what was the first thing I went to when I picked up? It was a bottle of wine.
Right.
So I had, I would have periods where, especially as a teenager, like all that follow the crowd. I mean, if you're having party or whatever, there's alcohol involved or something like that. But it did not become a problem until I was 31. In my 20s, I was raising. I had three children, and I was raising them, and was a hands-on mom. I was married to their dad, who's a very hands-on dad as well. So it never had time to really become a part of my life
Mm.
the way it did when my kids were a little older, and I was dealing with stuff that I didn't know how to deal with.
Mm.
I had learned back then unconsciously that I've got the fix for it. And when I started drinking, I'll tell you a little story.
Go right ahead.
I worked for a law firm in Vicksburg,
Hmm.
and I worked there for 15 years. I remember the day the addiction started.
Wow.
We had the boss I worked directly under, the lawyer I worked under, we were very good friends. I mean, it was one of those kind of jobs that don't come around too often. You know what you got when you have it. So he and I and another coworker who worked closely together, we had an exceptionally bad day in that it my entire body, all three of us, our entire bodies were just stressed. And I'll never forget it. It was in February. Bobby, the attorney, had received back in December, 2 months prior, a bottle of wine. None of us drank. It sat on his floor in his office by his feet for 2 months. And then this particular day came along. And everybody else had left the law firm except for us three. And we were sitting there talking about the day. And then I believe it was him that said, "Hey, we ought to pop the cork on this bottle."
Uh-huh.
And when I tell you that when we popped the cork on that bottle and I had the first drink, my body that had been so tense went into, I fell into an ease,
Wow.
relaxed, and I thought I found God. I said,
What?
marriage that I am not happy in. I'm raising teenagers. That was a thrill all in itself. And I have a job I love, but it's stressful. So
Uh-huh.
I found God that day.
Wow.
gonna be the drink I can have at night when I get off work. I can go and just have a glass of wine. In 6 months' time, I was drinking a full bottle.
Stop right there. Girl, I hope you got it. So, oh, this is something. The thing that you resisted that you didn't know had taken a hold of you finally manifested itself and grabbed you, deceiving you into thinking you had found God.
Yes, indeed.
Y'all,
I,
I want to know what happened next. This is DTM Real Talk. And what we're doing, we're just keeping it real. You got to finish this story next week. We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks for watching DTM Real Talk. Be sure to join us for more conversation. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe while you're there.